Hello and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah.
And I'm Bill, your co-host. Thanks for joining us today.
In today's episode, we're diving into a fun and powerful way to learn English through stories.
That's right. Whether you're just starting out or trying to improve your fluency, stories can make your learning more natural, enjoyable, and even emotional.
Exactly. Stories help you understand how words are used in real-life situations, not just from grammar books. Plus, they're memorable, and that makes learning easier.
And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good story? They grab your attention, teach you culture, and give you vocabulary and context.
So if you've ever wondered how reading or listening to simple stories can actually make you speak better English, this episode is just for you.
We'll also share a short story later in the episode and break it down together. So stay tuned.
Ready to begin, Bill?
Let's do it.
So, Bill, let's talk about why stories are such a powerful tool for learning English. What do you think makes them so effective?
Well, first of all, stories give us context. When you hear new words in a story, you see how they're actually used in real life, not just as isolated vocabulary.
Yes. Instead of memorizing random word lists, you hear how those words work together in natural sentences.
Exactly. And stories also help you learn grammar patterns without even realizing it. You pick them up naturally, the way native speakers do as children.
That's so true. I remember reading simple English stories when I was younger, and I started using full sentences just by repeating what I heard. It wasn't forced learning, it just happened.
Right. Another thing is stories create an emotional connection. If you enjoy the story, you're more likely to remember the words and phrases.
Yes, emotion helps memory. If a story makes you laugh or feel something, your brain holds on to it much longer.
And let's not forget pronunciation and rhythm. Listening to stories helps you hear the natural flow of English, where native speakers pause, stress words, and link sounds.
So, to sum it up, stories teach you vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and they keep you motivated because they're fun.
Exactly. It's like learning without feeling like you're studying. It's more like experiencing the language.
Love that. And that's what we want to help our listeners do today, experience English in a meaningful way.
So, Sarah, I'm curious. Do you remember a time when stories helped you learn a language?
Oh, yes, absolutely. When I was learning French in high school, I really struggled at first, but then our teacher gave us these short, simple French stories. One of them was about a boy who lost his dog. I still remember it.
That sounds sad and sweet at the same time.
It was, but it helped me so much. I started to recognize words like chercher for to search and chien for dog. And because I cared about the story, the vocabulary just stuck with me. I didn't even feel like I was studying.
That's powerful. I had a similar experience when I was trying to improve my English as a kid. I used to read these little comic books, nothing fancy, just simple conversations. But I picked up a lot of expressions like "what's up" and "no way" just from the dialogues.
Exactly. Those small expressions are hard to learn from textbooks, but stories give you real language the way people actually speak.
Right. And it doesn't even have to be books. I remember listening to audio stories while walking to school. Hearing the language again and again helped me understand the rhythm and pronunciation naturally.
Yes, and that's a great point. Repetition through stories is so helpful. The more we hear certain phrases in context, the more comfortable we become using them.
So, if you're listening right now and thinking, "I'm not good at grammar or vocabulary," don't worry. Sometimes a good story is all you need to get started.
I agree. It's not just learning the language, it's about living it through stories. So now that we know why stories are such a great way to learn English, let's talk about the different types of stories learners can use. Because there's not just one kind, right?
Absolutely. You don't have to read long novels or classic literature. In fact, starting with short stories is perfect, especially if you're a beginner.
Yes, short stories are easy to follow and usually have simple language. You can read one in just 5 or 10 minutes and still learn so much.
And then we've got fairy tales. They're fun, familiar, and often available in both your native language and English. Think of stories like Little Red Riding Hood or The Three Little Pigs.
I love those. And because they're so well known, you don't get lost in the plot. You can focus on the language instead.
Exactly. Another great option is personal anecdotes, small true stories from real life, like someone talking about a trip, their morning routine, or something funny that happened at work.
And those are really helpful because they reflect real, everyday English, the kind of language we use when chatting with friends.
Right. You can find those kinds of stories on podcasts, YouTube channels, or even in blog posts.
Then we also have news stories, especially simplified news. There are websites and apps that rewrite the news in easy English.
Yes. That's great for learning current events while building vocabulary and grammar naturally. And it also teaches you how English is used formally and informally.
And don't forget audio stories. These are awesome for listening practice. Apps like Audible or YouTube channels often have slow, clear English that's perfect for learners.
So, just to recap, some great types of stories to learn English are short stories, fairy tales, personal experiences, simplified news, audio, or podcast stories.
Whatever your level, you can find stories that match your skills and interests. The key is to enjoy the content. That's when real learning happens.
Exactly. When you enjoy the story, your brain stays active, and the language sticks. It's learning without stress.
Okay, now it's time for our favorite part, the story. Today's story is short, simple, and full of useful vocabulary. Are you ready, Bill?
Ready! Let's do it. Michael was running late for work. He looked at the clock. It was already 7:45 a.m. His bus usually arrived at 7:50, so he grabbed his bag, put on his shoes, and rushed out the door. As he ran to the bus stop, he hoped the bus would be late too. But when he turned the corner, he saw the bus driving away. "No!" he shouted, breathing hard. He looked at his watch. "I can still make it," he whispered, and started walking quickly to the next stop. At the next bus stop, he waited for a few minutes. Finally, another bus arrived. He got on, smiled at the driver, and said, "Rough morning." The driver smiled back and said, "Don't worry. You're not the only one."
Okay, I love that one. So relatable, right? How many times have we all had a morning like that?
Too many times. Let's break it down for our listeners and look at some of the useful language here.
Great. So first the phrase running late. It means you're behind schedule, right?
Yes. If you're supposed to be somewhere at 8 and it's already 7:55, you're definitely running late.
Next, he grabbed his bag and rushed out the door. These are natural action phrases. Grabbed means to take quickly, and rushed means to move fast.
Exactly. They make the story feel real and active. Then we have he hoped the bus would be late too. That's a nice use of the would structure, talking about a future possibility in the past.
Nice catch. And then when he saw the bus leaving, he said no and was breathing hard. That tells us he had been running and was tired, but it doesn't tell us directly. We understand from the detail.
Good storytelling technique. And I like how he says, "I can still make it." That's a common phrase. It means, I still have time to succeed or arrive,
Then finally, the phrase rough morning. That's a casual way to say your morning didn't go well. Very common in conversation.
And the bus driver's reply was perfect. Don't worry, you're not the only one. It means, you're not alone. Other people had a bad morning too.
So this short story gives us action verbs, time expressions, and common everyday phrases, all in context.
And it's easy to picture in your mind, which helps with understanding and memory.
Exactly. Listeners, if you want to improve faster, try reading or listening to short stories like this, and then break them down the way we just did.
It really works. You'll remember vocabulary much more naturally. So, Sarah, we've talked about why stories work and what kinds of stories to use, but now the big question is, how can learners actually use stories in their daily English practice?
Great question. One of the easiest ways is to read or listen to one short story every day, even if it's just 5 minutes. The key is consistency, not perfection.
Yes, and don't just read once and forget it. Try this. Step 1. Read the story. Step 2. Read it again, but this time, highlight new words or phrases. Step 3. Try saying parts of the story out loud. It helps your pronunciation and fluency.
Exactly. And if it's an audio story, listen to it twice. First for general understanding, then again pause and repeat some sentences. That's called shadowing.
Oh, shadowing is amazing. You repeat what the speaker says almost at the same time. It trains your mouth to speak like a native.
Another tip? Write a short summary of the story in your own words. This helps you think in English, not just read or listen.
That's a great one. And here's another. Retell the story to yourself like you're explaining it to a friend. That builds speaking confidence.
Yes, so let's sum it up. Here are 5 ways to use stories in your daily English practice. Known, read or listen daily. Number 4, highlight and learn new words. Number 5, repeat or shadow out loud. Number 1, write a short summary. Number 5, retell the story in your own words.
Simple steps, big results, especially if you do them every day.
Exactly. It's not about studying harder, it's about learning smarter, and stories help you do just that. All right, so now that our listeners know how to use stories daily, let's take it a step further. Let's talk about how to maximize story learning.
Let's turn just reading a story into a powerful learning tool. First tip. Don't just read, interact with the story.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, ask yourself questions while you read. Like, what's happening in this part? Why did the character do that? What would I do in that situation? It helps you think in English while staying engaged.
I love that. Another great tip is to act out the story, especially dialogues. Use different voices, add emotion, even stand up and move around. It connects your brain, body, and language.
Yes, you're not just reading, you're living the language. And don't forget to build a personal vocabulary list from the story. Write down words or phrases that you like and review them later.
That's a game changer. And one more. Repeat the same story after a few days. It helps reinforce everything you learned, and you'll notice new details you missed before.
Exactly. It's like watching a movie again. You always catch something new.
So to recap, here are some tips to maximize your story learning. Ask questions while reading. Act out scenes or dialogue. Make a personal vocabulary list. Reread or re-listen later.
These small habits can make a big difference. Story learning becomes not just fun, but super effective.
And remember, the more you enjoy the process, the faster your English improves. Wow, what a journey! Today, we explored how learning English through stories can be fun, powerful, and super effective.
Yeah, we shared why stories work, what kinds of stories to use, how to practice with them, and even how to get the most out of every single one. If you follow these tips, your English will definitely grow.
And don't forget, it's okay to start small. Even one short story a day can help you improve listening, speaking, vocabulary, and confidence.
Exactly. The important thing is to keep going. Make stories part of your daily routine, and let your imagination and curiosity guide your learning.
And remember, learning English isn't about being perfect. It's about making progress. Every word you read, every sentence you speak, it's a step forward.
We believe in you. Keep learning, keep enjoying, and keep telling your own English story.
Thanks for joining us today on the English Learning Podcast. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.
See you in the next episode, everyone. Happy story learning.
Thanks again for listening to the English Learning Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode about learning with stories, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends.
And if you have a favorite English story or a question about learning with stories, leave us a comment or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you.
New episodes drop every week, so make sure to stay tuned. Until next time.
Keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep telling your story in English.
Bye for now.